Welcome to Let's Talk About It Media 21, where we talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on in the world. But we're definitely going to talk Diddy, what's going on, what's being talked about. Will he be released? Will he get a pardon? What will Trump do? We understand there's a lot going on in the world, and prior he had said he wouldn't consider. So we're going to get into hot topics, trending topics. So just allow me a few seconds to do my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Yesterday, a lot of people, like myself, had issues with YouTube starting, stopping, and our videos were people were in the room, but then you would say that the numbers were dwindling. So I hope that doesn't happen today. So I feel bad that people were in the room and they didn't realize that there was an issue with the internet. Mainly, I guess, if you're tied to using YouTube, that might have been, I don't know if people that were on StreamYard had a problem, but let's go ahead and get to the Diddy news.
TMZ's Branson Court. President Trump may be considering commuting the sentence for Sean Diddy Combs, and K-Fed is revealing new details about the end of his marriage to Britney Spears. TMZ's Branson Quirk is live in Los Angeles. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. Let's start with Diddy. So he's serving a 50-month prison sentence for prostitution-related charges. He's served 13 months, and with credit, would get out. It's been about 2 years. But you guys have a source in the White House who says Diddy could actually be out as early as this week if the president gets involved.
Right, exactly. TMZ, we spoke to a high source there at the White House that told us that Donald Trump is vacillating, really considering pardoning Diddy. And as of this morning, the White House did reject that is a true statement, but TMZ is currently standing by that statement as of we spoke to someone that is very important at the White House, and that's what they currently say. So the White House is saying one thing, and then this official is saying another at this very moment. And yes, Diddy, with that 50-month sentence, he's been in for about 13 months now. So with time served and with credit, he could get out. His legal team is saying 2 years and some change. But we do know also that Diddy, just in the last 24 hours, did also officially file to appeal the case. We know that he was making this promise. His team was making that promise to do this, and just within 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see an official brief for this appeal.
All right, we'll have to stay tuned. So Kevin Federline has a new tell-all memoir, and if you're going to tell all, as Kay said, it's going to be about Britney Spears and that relationship.
So let's continue with the news in regards to Diddy. What will happen? What will transpire? Will he get released? Will he get a pardon? So let's continue with the news. What's trending? Like the videos, you guys come in. Like the videos, you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in.
True or not true on this. So I don't know, So Diddy may be pardoned this week. This news comes from a high-ranking White House official. It's an alleged report. I reached out and didn't get any response, true or not true on this. So I don't know, where that leaves us. But according to a high-ranking White House official, they told TMZ that Trump is considering commuting Diddy's sentence as early as this week. Now, according to this source, Trump is going back and forth on this. And there are some White House staff that are saying, don't do it. Leave it alone. He wasn't supporting you. But the source made it clear Trump is going to do what he wants, so it could happen as early as this week. Now, y'all remember when there was, some of Diddy's attorneys that were doing interviews and saying that they were having conversations with Trump, and then they came back out and said they weren't having the conversations. So this source is saying that even when all that back and forth was happening, there were really conversations going on. And the day after Diddy,
if he gets released, will you be surprised?
He was sentenced, the conversation started again, and that was the same week that Trump, remember that clip went viral when he said that Diddy just asked for a pardon?
Yeah.
So, all that is happening. So, Diddy has served, 13 months at this point. He was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months, but if this happens, none of that will matter. So we will have to wait to see what happens.
And you're going to come home and be, you got to come home and be Trump's hold now.
Oh, my God, 100%.
When they do that UFC fight on the White House lawn, you will be the performance. You will be the live entertainment.
Hello, Anonymous. I hope all is well. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much.
You will be shaking ass.
Yeah, he has to.
But how was this information getting leaked, right? When George Santos just got pardoned, nobody knew until it was done. I feel like they keep talking about it, and it allows people to shoot it down.
And it'll be a way to stop it before it happens.
I mean, to be honest with you, they probably might have been talking about George Santos getting the pardon. That's not my algorithm.
Yeah, mine either. And to be honest with you, this is going to be a great PR thing for Trump. So how do things get leaked? They get leaked when people want you to know what might be happening. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the same time as this news came, like literally right before this news broke, there was a notice filed by Diddy's attorney, Alexandra Shapiro, who is in charge of his appeal. And they basically just put the court on notice that in 4 to 6 weeks, they're going to be appealing the sentence. So either way, they're like, okay, from what we hear from this source, it's like either they're going to do what they're doing with Trump and he's going to come home, or they're going to try and appeal it to bring him home as well. And I did ask my source if Diddy is going to be involved in like figuring out what the angle of the appeal is and all the things, because he was super involved during the trial. And they said, of course he will be, of course, but he's in really great hands because she's one of the best attorneys at this in the game. So
they need to do a reality show based on Trump's the pardon process. I just want to know.
And sometimes they say an appeal could take up to a year or less, or a year or more. It just depends. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
I want to know how he comes to the conclusions that this individual needs pardon. I just would love to see it.
It's probably like a board that he spins.
Hilarious. Hilarious. I just want to see it.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, what's up? It's Lauren LaRosa here talking.
So let's continue with the news. Do you think that he'll get a pardon? Many people are like, why are people ignoring the allegations and what transpired? Why are people ignoring that? So people are saying, if he does do it, many people are kind of like, should he really do it though? From the allegations.
For Sean Diddy Combs following his prison sentence, the disgraced music mogul will be under a supervised release for 5 years after new court documents detailing the strict conditions for Sean Diddy Combs following his prison sentence. The disgraced music mogul will be under a supervised release for 5 years after he gets out from behind bars. The requirements include mandatory participation in a domestic violence program. He also won't be allowed to contact any of the victims in the case or, quote, encourage anyone else to contact them. This all comes as Diddy is currently serving a 4-year prison sentence at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. NBC News legal analyst Angela Senadella joins us now. Angela, good to have you here on set. So what else are we learning about the conditions of Sean Combs' release? And is this all pretty par for the course, pretty standard?
Yeah, so look, a lot of these conditions sound pretty harsh, but they're pretty standard. Things, as you mentioned, like no contact with victims, also no contact with other criminals, no access to firearms, also unsupervised, or visits, drop-in visits from probation officers at any time, mandatory employment. So many of these are standard. But what I do think is notable is the addition of required treatment programs. And it's not just one, right? It is domestic violence, but also drug abuse and also mental health. The reason why it's so notable is because we all remember the defense described this as a modern love story. And even though Combs was acquitted of the most egregious charges, it's really a message from the court saying there's really still something that is not right here. There's treatment that is required. There's issues that need to be resolved.
Can you tell us a little bit about his living conditions? Because I know that he's currently in Brooklyn, but he's actually asked to be moved to a federal facility. Why? What would that do to his living conditions?
Okay, so very specifically, he's requesting to be moved to Fort Dix, to a low-security prison. So that would very much ameliorate, improve his living conditions from where he is in Brooklyn. So this low-security prison is more like a dorm-like setting and also has a specific drug abuse treatment program that he's requesting to be a part of. And sometimes people who go through this program successfully can get time off at the end.
Well, Angela, we also know that Diddy is going to be required to work 30 hours a week upon his release. Do we know if that's like, he can just do what he wants, he's the owner, obviously, of a company, CEO, or is this something that the state or the courts are going to mandate?
So this is interesting. It is pretty standard, and the legal language is work conscientiously at suitable employment. So it doesn't mean that the government can tell him what job to do, but it does mean that the probation officer can veto what he chooses. And the real point here is access and rehabilitation and not a lot of free time, requiring structure. So given that his employment is generally self-employment and a lot of time, it's not clear here how the probation officer will respond to that, what sort of restrictions they will put. But yeah, the probation officer can say, this is not okay. Too much free time on your hands.
Angela, how often are these transfer requests approved?
So it's certainly case by case. It's not something that happens all the time, and the court would look at a lot of things, like, for example, what sort of risk does he pose, what sort of risk exists at that center, and really the goal here is whether or not he will be rehabilitated enough in a low-security setting, or if something more higher security is required.
When are we expecting that decision?
It should be pretty soon, given the request was just given.
Okay. All right. Angela Senadella.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in.
Just pardoned everybody for January 6th. He just recently pardoned George Santos. Now, this is coming on the docket. Him considering pardon Diddy. Now, a lot of y'all may think this is not a big deal, but as you process, Diddy will be able to come home, move freely with no restrictions. be able to rub shoulders again with his billionaire friends. He done went through his trials and tribulations. He done been chastised for him acting out, I guess. Trump approval rating is in the 30s. Diddy still has a lot of influence. I don't know if this is strategic on Trump's part. I don't know if this is just something about a plan in the future. What I do know is it's getting spooky out here, and he's getting extremely comfortable in the White House. He's renovating and putting gold everywhere. We just had this amazing no kings protest, no violence. But now Trump is considering pardon Miss Maxwell, who's already exonerated him and said he had nothing to do with the Epstein situation. It's getting spooky out here. But y'all tell me what y'all feel about this in the comments. Until next time, y'all be cool.
So let me know. Do y'all think that he'll get the pardon? Yes or no? Let's continue. Fair use. We're just doing some rapid topics of what people are talking about.
The judge imposed the maximum fine.
Fair use reaction to clip. We're just doing some rapid topics of what people are talking about regarding Trump and Diddy.
Are you at all surprised?
Well, it is a little surprising because as tough as the judge was on Combs and talking about how he abused his power and he drove 2 women to near suicide, he actually gave far less than the government wanted. They wanted a tick over 11. While the probation department, they wanted 5 to 7 years. And actually, by giving him a little bit more than 4 years, what that translates to, Annabelle, is that he gets credit for time served. That's 14 months. If he keeps his nose clean in prison, he gets 8 months more off. He could walk free February 2028.
All right, so here's something. So now that we talked about the sentence, Combs had asked the judge for mercy. He asked for a second chance. The judge, though, however, saying this was your second chance, is saying, quote, where is that here? He could have had a much longer sentence. What does that tell you?
What that tells you is that this judge was really being hard on Combs because Combs has expressed remorse at various times, but then allegedly he just went back to doing it again. I mean, in a way, of course, Combs is lucky. If that jury had convicted him on either sex trafficking or racketeering in July, he could be going away for life. Instead, he's going to be going away just for a couple of years. A weird thing happened. The prosecution said today, well, Your Honor, Combs has already booked half a dozen speaking engagements down in Florida on the assumption that you're going to spring him today. And that shocked everybody. The defense lawyers got up and said, well, Your Honor, we hoped you would release him today. And he wants to speak to inmate groups and community groups. But it was not a good look for Sean Diddy Combs.
You know, going back to the sentence, though, and do we know where he's going to meet that sentence?
You know, the Bureau of Prisons now gets to control it. Doesn't matter what the judge wants. Doesn't matter what Sean Diddy Combs wants. The Bureau decides, what about security? High-profile guy. What about his medical needs? Where does his family live? Where did he live before being arrested? Bottom line, Annabelle, there are 2 candidates. He will probably go either to Terminal Island in San Pedro or Lompoc. One of those 2 are the most likely places where he will do his prison.
What are his options now?
Well, number 1 option is get that appeal going. Sean Diddy Combs is going to be arguing that the prostitution statute was never intended for some sort of a weirdo performance art freak-off. It was intended for a brothel and pimps and johns and so on, and therefore the judge allowed a misapplication of the law.
And his legal matters are far from over.
Oh, yeah, he's got civil suits coming out of his ears. He's already settled for millions of dollars. He's got a big target on his back as a result of this conviction. So, yeah, he's got plenty of legal troubles, but let's face it, he has to be breathing a sigh of relief that he first avoided life in prison, and now he could be getting out in early 2028.
All right.
Are you guys surprised that everybody's talking about, will he release him? Will he not release him? Should he release him? Is it to change the narrative and what's going on? So we're just going to do a general update on what everyone was talking about.
This bag is from Ace Studios, who is kindly sponsored.
And many people are wondering, is this just a distraction from people wanting things released?
Holmes was just sentenced to more than 4 years in prison.
So he's sentenced to 4 years.
Was convicted back in July on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Holmes had pleaded not guilty to all charges and was acquitted of 2 more serious charges, sex trafficking and racketeering, which would have led to a potential life sentence. Moments before he was sentenced, Holmes apologized for his disgusting, shameful, and sick behavior. Those are his characterizations. Our Jerika Duncan is outside the courthouse. Jerika has covered this case from the beginning. Jerika, your thoughts?
this was the most important day of this case, and Combs did give a statement about 12 minutes long where he spoke directly to the court. He talked about being personally responsible and apologized for what happened with his ex-girlfriends, Cassie Ventura and Jane. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and he said moments ago, I want to personally apologize to all of the victims of domestic violence. He said, quote, I hate myself right now. I was stripped to nothing, and when it comes to that video of him beating Cassie, he said, I was sick on drugs. I was out of control. I needed help. I make no excuses. I knew better. But the judge had some very sharp words in response to Combs. He acknowledged that he is trying to do better and told him that he hopes that he continues that, but instantly went into rejecting attempts to characterize what happened as, quote, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. He said, you abused your power and control you had over women you claimed you had loved. You abused them emotionally and physically. He said the evidence was massive. I was sitting right here, he said. We read it and we saw it. Images of gashes and bruises and broken doors, and I saw it in the video. It was savage. This is according to the judge. This is some of the comments that he made just moments ago in court. Alice Gaynor from WCBS is in the courtroom right now and sending out notes just to give us a sense of what Combs' demeanor is like right now. What is his family reacting to? I also want to note something that the judge mentioned in reference to Jane. She went by the pseudonym Jane, but this was also an ex-girlfriend. He said he referred to the brutal assault of Jane by saying, you kicked down 5 doors in her home, lifted her off the floor by her neck, punched her, kicked her, dragged her by her hair, slapped her so hard she fell down. Jane, quote, her credibility testified to those things, that she was a credible witness. So some sharp words, again, from the judge who just handed down that sentence, 50 months in prison. There will be times.
So he may not want to deal with the conditions they're trying to put him under. And he was like, just get me out of here. He basically like, I'm not doing none of that. Like the video. He basically like, I'm not doing that. If I can't be transferred, because remember, he had asked to be transferred, but then they're stating that the course isn't going to happen. He's still at where he's been. So let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Let's get right into the news. All right, so we got Diddy's lawyers. They file a notice of appeal for conviction and sentencing. They filed this officially just a few days ago, and they want everything to be, it was stamped today, obviously, but they want everything to be relooked at. I would want the judge removed, because honestly, the judge doesn't like Diddy and all that other stuff. I'm not saying Diddy's an innocent person, but for what they convicted him for, it's kind of a harsh sentence. He's already been in there a year, right? You would think that he would come home and have crazy probation at this point, like maybe 2 years, 3 years probation, ordered to stay away from the victims for a certain amount of time, like just restrictions. But, because the hope is he messes up and he has to go back in, right? But no.
Like the videos, you guys come in. Be kind in the comments. We don't play over here. We don't deal with the being rude, being disrespectful. Be kind in the comments. We do know nothing of this. No insulting cultures. No insulting people and telling them to be quiet. We're kind over here. We don't. I don't know what other pages do, but I time those people out. Be kind. Don't be weird. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're giving out news. If you're not talking about the news, go somewhere and talk to yourself.
They wanted another 2 years from him basically. So I mean he's probably going to be on a year, but he might be out this week because now a lot of reports are coming that the current president is considering commuting his 50-month sentence as early as this week, which means he would be home immediately. I don't know how that works with probation and everything. I guess all that's not done and he just comes home. What this says to me is a deal was worked out of some sort, okay? A deal of a gift of some sort. Maybe not, obviously not directly to anybody, but like, all right, we need to pay for this, so you pay for this, and you come home. Like deals like that happen all the time with the Clintons, the Bushes, the Obamas. Like you see people getting pardons. What's a commuting a sentence? It's not a pardon. You still be guilty. The difference is
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube.
And a lot of people didn't understand the difference in regards to commute and a pardon. Pardon, pretty much everything would be wiped away. Commute, the charges still stand.
Commuting a sentence.
Okay.
Pardons. What's a commuting a sentence? It's not a pardon. You still be guilty. The difference is versus commuting. So he'll just come home, but he'll still have this on his record. Commuting a sentence, a pardon forgives the crime entirely. It just reduces the sentence. So it'll lessen the punishment, but doesn't erase the conviction or its consequences. So a pardon is a complete release from punishment and can restore loss of civil rights. Diddy won't get that, okay? Commutation is used for those still serving a sentence, while a pardon is after a sentence is completed. So he'll get a reduction of his sentence, basically. probably total. They'll probably work something out where he comes home and he's still on probation. Okay. The conviction is legal. Consequences still remain. The incarceration period is shortened. So he'll probably, you can see him coming home by Christmas, I'd say, right? An example of this I see is death sentence could be commuted to life in prison. So Diddy will probably get his probation still, and he'll probably have house arrest. They're gonna modify it. Definitely not getting a pardon, but he will be able to come home. He's just taking up space at this point, anyways. It's like he's not really like nothing's gonna change, you know, if he comes home next year, this year.
And then remember, his youngest daughter just had a birthday. Could you imagine being in jail? Your youngest daughter, you haven't been able to spend time with her for a year, and then of course the holidays are coming. So he could have played on those heartstrings a little bit.
He's already done a year in, and he'll probably, he'll probably be on house arrest. I don't see them just letting him go loose, you know, and he'll still have his probation, so he could still mess up and go back. So, am I shocked? Not really. I'm not really completely shocked because I think that I knew that it was probably a deal that had to be worked out. That's why Trump kind of did before. He says, well, he spoke kind of nasty of me before.
So did the jury get it right in regards to what they did charge him for, or did the jury get it wrong? That's the other question.
You know, I don't know.
And no one's heard from the jurors. Silence.
If I could let this go, I don't know if it could, you know, very nasty before. So that was basically like, you know, give the United States some cash and we can make this happen. He's probably got to pay for part of the ballroom or something's going on, you know, that we don't know about. But anyways, I'm not shocked. I bet you we'll hear about that by Wednesday. All right, so then we got these two clowns, Christian Rock and the Bino rapper. Supposedly he paid her for promo. That's what she's saying. He paid for promo. It was a fake relationship. Well, he could have fooled us. You guys almost...
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. What do you think is going to happen? Some people are calling out because, go back. Remember how it had stated that Diddy's going to be home in 48 hours, 24 hours, whatever. 48 hours and 24 hours. Many people are like, is that real or fake? A lot of us said, is that real? Is that fake? That's why I said it. He's still in there. So many people are wondering if this is even factual in regards to the possibility of release. Are they using the media to see how people feel about him getting out? That's the other question. Like the video as you guys come in. Let's continue fair use.
AI. Yeah, so people have hobbies. But yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Drake versus Kendrick in the World Series.
Hold on.
And really explained had they reached out before running their fake news. The president, not anonymous sources, is the final decider of pardons and communications. The second part makes no sense. We never said he was. Obviously, right. You're just stating a fact.
What are they? So they're saying
they are saying there is zero truth to the TMZ report. Our report said that he was going back and forth on whether or not he was going to commute Diddy's sentence. So
he's not.
Well, the only thing that they're basically saying, and if you just read the statement, they're saying there's zero truth. So he maybe has a decision one way or the other.
Maybe he's decided he will commute.
Exactly. So it's weird. I mean,
and also we not only stand by the story, it's true. The story we reported is true. Trump is vacillating whether or not to commute Diddy's sentence.
And it's like, I know you're on the side of you think that he for sure is going to.
I personally, I would be shocked if he didn't.
Now, he does want to stick it to the New York, whatever it is, that court. It's the same court that was going after Diddy were the ones that were prosecuting him.
And the same lead prosecutor.
So I do get him being petty like that and being like, hey, I'm going to stick it to these people who, you know, were out to get me. As he could maybe think, hey, they're just out to get another very high-profile famous person and unjustly prosecute them. So I could see that. I mean, at this point, does he have any rhyme or reason? Like, he freed the Chrisleys, freed George Santos, and it's just because, he wanted to. He doesn't really have to give reasoning.
He doesn't, but I mean, Diddy hasn't, or his family members haven't been wearing the MAGA hat.
They haven't done the MAGA hat.
Which surprises me.
And Diddy has never really publicly, praised Trump or made it a thing like, you guys are doing to me exactly what you did to the president. I feel like if he would have made one of those plays, it would be far more likely.
Well, at the moment, as it stands on a betting website.
You're a gambling addict.
Well, I just looked up because there is a 1% chance that Trump commutes Diddy's sentence this week.
So you just placed a major wager?
No.
I don't think those odds are likely, or I don't think those are correct, because I feel like it should be 50-50.
I feel like it should be too. That's why you got to put your life savings on.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, we will follow up. I have some things I have to take care of. Just wanted to update you guys on, because TMZ is being called out. Remember how it had stated a few days ago, not pertaining to TMZ, but a few days ago, people were saying, oh, he's getting out in 48 hours. Oh, he's getting out in 24 hours. Oh, there's a Diddy watch. So there is a lot of back and forth. We'll see what happens. We'll follow it. We'll see what happens. Will he give him a pardon? Will he give him a commute? We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to update you guys to put this in the video, and we'll see if okay. Say for instance he gets out. How is Diddy going to show his support to the man? I'm gonna just say the man because I don't normally say his name. Are we going to see that he's supporting, showing up, doing rallies? What are we going to see if he does get that? There's a lot going on in the hip hop industry right now too. People are talking about Jay-Z. People are talking about Beyonce. People are talking about his group, Diddy's groups of friends are moving a certain way so they can protect themselves. Now, a lot of us were like, if there's tapes, why is the only tape that went out was Cassie? If there was tapes removed from his house, how is it that we don't know anything about these celebrities? Have y'all noticed that? A lot of the celebrity stuff was kept hush. Whoever Cassie dealt with was talked about. She wasn't in jail though. But whoever his celebrities' friends were was hush. Do y'all not find that surprising? Whoever Cassie dated, whoever Cassie slept with, all her information was leaked. But in regards to his friends, his situation, a lot of that was hushed. But he was the one in jail. So really pay attention to that. The civil lawsuits, we can't confirm or deny any of that stuff, but there are alleged civil lawsuits. And those civil lawsuits have to bring proof. And a judge and jury is going to have to decide that. Hospital bills of proof, police reports of proof, cameras showing of proof. You know what I'm saying? So we'll keep an eye on it. But what was removed from his house, laptop, phones, the feds still have all that. And are the feds building other cases about other people because that stuff was removed? We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Just wanted to do this video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Like, comment, and share. And I'll be back later on to do hot topics, trending topics. I just need to get this Diddy video in. I have some things I have to take care of. I'll be back in 2 or 3 hours. Have a great day, everyone. At least YouTube is working and it's not buffering today. Have a great day, everyone. Focus on healthy, safe relationship. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Note, people were talking about Diddy's stuff that was obtained by the feds, and they were talking about celebrities in the media. But it's interesting that are the feds alleged looking at different celebrities? I'm wondering. Have a great day, everyone. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Have a great day. Goodbye.